I'm the Prequels enthusiast, and this is my review on Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I have this Star Wars sweater on for this video. I really think Star Wars is a great story. I grew up with the prequels, kind of, so that's my area. I love the originals. Return of the Jedi was my favorite one. Probably still is. Then the sequel trilogy I really enjoyed a lot too. I think 7 is a great movie. 8, I liked 8. Last Jedi, I liked it. Most people didn't, but I did. And 9, I think I like 9. I think I do. I've read some reviews and I've seen some videos on it, and I think the biggest problems that people had were that this is gonna be spoilers, by the way. This is all spoilers. If I didn't mention that already, this is all spoilers. Some of the biggest problems I have was that they had the faked out death at least, of Chewbacca, and then like a minute later he's back. I wasn't a fan of that. I feel like they should have done, so they did the whole for Chewie thing. They put their hands in, like, for Chewie, and then he's back. Like, they should have at least waited maybe like a half hour, or maybe like till the final battle where he shows up again. He's like, like, I never died, but you still believed in the spirit of me, and that's what brought you all to win the war, or whatever, for all this resistance. That's whatever. I think we'd be better off as that. I really enjoyed the story of Rey in this trilogy. I think I've seen some videos on this. I think this trilogy is about identity. That's one of the big things I think this trilogy is about. For identity, you have Kylo Ren, right, who was born to be a Jedi and turned to a Sith because of Luke. Then you have Rey, who's born a Palpatine, a Sith family, and she's destined to become a Jedi. I think that's a really cool take on Star Wars, because we had Anakin, who was born he was born from midichlorians, he was born from nothing. He just was created by I heard it was from Palpatine in some of the extended lore, which I don't know if is still canon or not, but the story, I don't think the story is canon anymore. But he was born from Palpatine using midichlorians, which makes sense that Palpatine was make his own successor. But besides that, I think that having Rey destined to be a Sith but turned Jedi is really cool, because we always had the other way around. We had Anakin, like I said, who was born to be a Jedi. He was born specially to become a Jedi, and then he turned Sith. So I think it should have other way around. You have Ben Solo, once again born to be good, turned evil, came back because of Han Solo and Leia, with their guidance. Ending scene, I thought Rey's lightsaber was cool. I know the yellow lightsabers are for people who bring balance to the Force, at least in the video games and stuff. So having her have a yellow lightsaber means that she's not really a Jedi or a Sith, because, like I said, she was born into one and turned into another. So she's kind of almost a balance, because that's her heritage, and then her identity. What she identifies as is a Skywalker now. Skywalkers have always been good, except for Vader. And then you have Palpatine, who have always been bad. And she doesn't want to believe that she's a Palpatine because she believes in the best in people. But I think having her have a yellow lightsaber is really cool, nod to the video games and to the canon, into the extended canon, non-canon, the extended lore. I think that was a really cool aspect. I really wish they would have put Ben Solo's ghost in the final scene when she identifies as a Skywalker, because she should have had, Luke, Luke, who's Rey's mentor, Leia, who's her mentor, and then Ben Solo, who she's fought with all this time to turn him back, and she finally did, and have that payoff that Ben Solo is now a Force ghost who, can watch over her and see her, succeed. But, that's just a minor thing. I don't know if Ben has the ability to turn into a Force ghost. His body did disappear, which, Qui-Gon did that, but he was a pretty good Jedi. Like, he was up there in power. In Episode 3, Yoda tells Obi-Wan that Qui-Gon is able to come back as a Force ghost, which I'm pretty sure you hear his voice in the Rey's final climax. I'm pretty sure you hear Mace Windu, you hear Qui-Gon, you hear apparently Anakin and Ahsoka Tano. Both Obi-Wans. You hear a lot of people. So I'm not sure if he didn't do that, but it would have been cool. That's all I'm saying. Uh, I really liked the final battle. The whole Emperor thing was weird. Not sure if it's believable to the highest extent, but you have to have a bad guy, and Snoke is dead. So who do you date? The original bad guy, the Emperor. That's all you have left. Uh, yeah, I think they handled it pretty well. Poe is really good in this movie. So is Finn. They really fleshed them out. And another thing on Rey, I forgot to mention. Rey being born to be a Sith explains her Force healing powers that Darth Plagueis had in Episode 3 when Palpatine gives a speech at the water show. That at the opera, that he can make life longer. That's how the Emperor is alive. I think Palpatine killed Plagueis so he can become the strongest Sith and be able to use the powers of immortality and healing to take on Vader in Episode 3 by convincing him that he can do it if he's strong enough as a Sith. He considers Sith to be stronger than Jedi, which probably is true. Because Rey has both power. Rey has Force healing. She has Sith lightning in the movie when she almost kills Chewbacca. Rey is strong, and people made a argument like Rey's too strong. She's overpowered. Whatever. Rey is born of Palpatine. Palpatine is the strongest Sith we've ever seen. It only made sense that she'd be as strong enough as his grandchild. Now, were her parents actually Sith, or were they non-affiliated? We don't know. But I believe that if you go to the timeline, Palpatine had his kids around the time of the before he turned the Emperor in Episode 3. It's probably between Episodes 1 and 2, maybe. He had his kids, and then by the time the Emperor turned, they didn't want Rey to grow up and to be him, knowing their lineage, I assume. Knowing what would happen to the Emperor, they didn't want that to happen to Rey. That's why they sold Rey and gave her and hid her, so she'd never be a Palpatine. Which is why she never becomes a Palpatine. She's only aware that she was born Palpatine, but she never identifies as Palpatine because she doesn't want to be a Palpatine. So that's a big complaint I think that easily brushed away by people have. It's just, she was born to be a Sith. That's why she's so powerful. That's why she has these powers. That's why she's trained fast and she learned fast. Because even Leia knew, Luke and Leia apparently knew that she was a Palpatine, I believe. They said that in the movie. So they know what they're dealing with, and that's why Luke didn't want to help her, because he didn't want to give her more power. In The Last Jedi, he didn't want her to turn into another Kylo Ren situation. And Leia sees the goodness in people, and she wanted to, give her a chance to be her own person. Kind of like how she's able to become a Jedi in her own way, and not even though she wasn't really with the Force. Luke was like, if you want to do it, you can. And that's why she stopped training. And has her own lightsaber, too. Overall, I think this is a great conclusion to the Skywalker story, the saga, and everything. I really like the performances. I looked at my phone once to see what time it was, because I felt like it was a little draggy at some parts, but it wasn't that bad. Mostly, I was just tired of that day. And I wanted to know what time it was to know what time I'd be getting home. Because it was a long day I spent traveling. So, that's the only reason why I took my phone, to see what time it was. Other than that, really good movie. I don't want to give it a rating, because I don't know I've only seen it once so far. I don't know what to give it. But if I had to guess, I would say between a 7 and 8. Maybe top 5, maybe top 3. I'm not too sure yet. Maybe even top 4. Who knows? I still think Return of the Jedi is probably my favorite one. But this is definitely a movie. This is like the biggest Star Wars movie Star Wars has ever been. You have the fleets, you have the giant fleets, you have the giant set pieces, you have the redemption arcs coming into fruition, you have the Emperor being back, you have Lando being back, you have everybody. Everybody's in this movie. Except for Yoda. Well, even his voice is in it still. So you have pretty much everybody in this movie that's ever been, in some way or another, associated with the Skywalker story that is in this movie. I think it's just a really good payoff of what is like 40 something years of story. It came out 1977, so whatever that is. 43 years, 42 years. So I think it's really the end to a really good story. Like I said, I'll probably give it like a 7 or 8. I really loved it. Not a lot of people do. I think the Rotten Tomatoes critic score is too low for this movie. I think those are better than that. The audience score is a lot more agreeable, up in the upper 70s. When I last checked it yesterday. But besides that, great movie. If you've probably seen it if you've seen my spoiler video. But like I said, if you see it again if you want to. I wanted to see this movie. See, this is a good ending. It's a conflicted trilogy, but I think this movie really hits the ball at the park. And yeah, I recommend it. If you haven't seen it, see it. I mean, you already know what the plot is, but see it again. I don't care. I give this movie I did this movie a good recommendation. So yeah, if you don't like the video, that would help me out a lot to know how you feel about this video. This is my first movie review on this channel. I've done ones on my website in writing. This is my first video on a film, and I think what better fun to do than the biggest Star Wars movie, the final Star Wars movie. What else could be done except for the final Star Wars movie as my first video channel video on film. Yeah, I go see it. If you can comment your thoughts on this movie, I want to know how you feel about it. I want to know your list of rankings too. I'm curious to see how people feel about this movie in their ranking order. And if you can subscribe, that would help me out a lot. I'm trying to grow this channel and do more stuff, do more film videos, do more music reviews. That's my main thing is music reviews, but I want to do a film video for one of my favorite franchises, if not my favorite franchise of all time. It's the Marvel. So yeah, and besides that, have a nice day, and may the Force be with you.